Sheriff Todd Baxter, employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Paul C. Messer, James C. Mellon Jr., Pembroke County Courthouse, Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I'm demanding public information from you that you refuse to disclose to me. I'm demanding the names of my prosecutors, District Attorney Doorley, District Attorney Perry Douglas. You know these names. And you've been refusing for 18 months to disclose these names. And you again refuse to disclose these names on this June 24th. This is the Freedom of Information Law dated June 23rd. There's 17 in here, and I'm going to read every single one. And every single one you're going to refuse because you're corrupt. How is any citizen in jail in the great state of New York when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor doesn't talk in court. When I appear in court, Deputy District Attorney Perry Douglas, I have a prosecutor signed to my case. Court appearance. Concocted criminal charges, fiction, and lies. Who is it? When I get to the foil, I have at least 3 prosecutors, and I could have more. Before John P. Menzer Jr., Paul C. Menzer, and Pembroke County Court, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. What interests me, perhaps as much as any of the information I'm demanding, that could possibly be number 1, is who's the prosecutor that forced me into Alex Renzi? Because I would be in Albany, New York right now, where I live in the city for 5 years and the county for 10 years, if it wasn't for that sociopath. Tell me the name of that prosecutor signed to my appearance before Alex Renzi. So, I'm going to read to you. I communicated to you on this Google product, this YouTube, on this June 21st, too. Every single one I'm going to read on this June 24th, that's dated June 23rd, you have. I'm going to attach it in PDF. Sometimes PDF doesn't attach to an email. I'm going to try to attach both of them. This is what's going to arrive in your office today. I know today is Saturday, but this is dated June 21st. When I say it's going to arrive, because there's a receipt. What I read here, it's just one page. The foil's not attached in this one. This one, too, on this June 23rd, you can see it's stamped right here. I don't know if you can see it. I don't think you can, but it's going to arrive on Monday when you get to the office. Your boss is going to look at this and refuse because she's corrupt, Perry Douglas. You don't know Sandra Doorley's corrupt. You, Michael Riley, Kathy and Miller, 101,000 William Tadeo, Scott O'Reilly, don't know Todd Baxter's corrupt. You will never know because you live in 1984. Sandra Doorley's going to get it. Todd Baxter's going to get this. Trinity Ross, the United States Attorney in the Western District of New York, who's in Buffalo, is going to get this. And I sent this to the Attorney General, Merrick Garland. Right, along with you, Paul C. Metzler, you're the last one. So this is what you're going to receive in your office on Monday. This one-page document. June 21. Comply with the 19 Freedom of Information Law documents attached in PDF dated June 21, 2023. Mailed to Nationwide Prosecutor's Silence, the address Law, Rochester, New York. Comply with every foil. Send the information I demand in every foil to that same address. Do you 2 party switching psychopaths understand the English language? If you each have a learning disability or afflicted with a psychosis, please let me know. A psychosis is a loss of contact with reality. That's you. Capiche? I have prosecuted silence before Pembroke Town Court Judge John P. Menzer Jr., Pembroke Town Court Judge Paul C. Metzler, New York State Supreme Court Judge Alex Renzi. Perverse silence. On Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Judge Alex Renzi. Silence on Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Judge Alex Renzi. Capiche? It's Italian for understand. My friend Carmelo Romano lived right around the corner from me on Long Island. His grandmother used to say capiche. I would laugh and didn't know what it was because you don't know these things when you're 10 years old. Capiche, Italian. Do you understand? You don't. At all. Because you're liars. That's why it's called liars. You lie about anything. You will lie about anything. Including you fucking degenerate Todd Baxter. This thing right here. What's the thing, Todd Baxter? How many times do I have to say this to you, you bald-headed Benito Mussolini clone, psychopath, and liar? This is 2025 Penfield Road. That's a surveillance device, also called a camera, that I was on because the public defender's office sent me the links. Is this private technology? You disgusting, sickening hack, Todd Baxter. Or did you buy it and fix it for me with tax dollars? What's the answer? And Elliot Roth, who works at this business, has the answer. This business is called Consumer Insights. I'm walking through this parking lot for the 4,000th time. This 50-year-old named Rochelle Elizabeth, 70-year-old mother, is outside screaming at me. When I write the criminal complaint about him falsely reporting an incident, he won't be arrested, charged, nothing's going to happen to him. I said, what's the problem? I have this confrontation with him. Shannon Meyer calls me. And I talked to this freak on the phone who gave $16,000 raise to. She now paid $83,000 for an hour. I have no idea she set me up. Does Shannon Meyer know that this camera's on this building? Elliot, you could tell me the answer easily, and I expect you to return my mail. It's the way it is. You're a private citizen. Sheriff's office will also refuse to tell me, because when you said to me, Elliot, you're going to be arrested with that gruesome smile, you know I don't know what you're talking about. You had to be, because I was going to the Goldstone Fairport, and when I was going in to the gym, I remember thinking, what's he talking about? I don't get that, because I'd never been arrested. So when Elliot Roth at this business consumer rights site says to me, you're going to be arrested, he either knows the sheriff's office came here to fix the lunatic fringe, or it's already on this building. He knows they're going to use this upon me. So I had this confrontation with this Nayrod shop, screaming like a psychopath. I'm now around individuals for the last 3 years that scream, and it's always sickening. I see this a lot too in Rochester when I'm out and walking around. When I go over to the public market today, I won't be surprised if I see people screaming at each other. People aren't outside making public spectacles of themselves, screaming at each other in New York City, Washington, D.C., or Albany. So this Nayrod shop screaming at me, this freak Meyer calls me, and my exact words to her, why call me? People walk through this parking lot all day long. Because I could see them. Where I used to live at 26 Sandra from Drive, was a 2-floor house. There's a sliding glass door on the first floor. You should know where that is, Leah LaRoe, because you're in my residence with an illegal document written by this $28,000 bald-headed widow, Paul C. Metzer. And you and Paul C. Metzer decided to get into my residence. And you $97,000 fat girl, 40-plus pounds overweight, Leah LaRoe, took my Chromebook and walked out of my residence. Where's my Chromebook? I'm going to be back on you in a week talking about that. But so I see people walk through this parking lot all day long, second floor, first floor. And I'm thinking, why are they targeting me? And you're targeting me. For a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times. You're just insane and sick. You will never know you're insane and sick. So, over and over, I'm demanding information from you. Shannon Meyer tells us Steve Devs and Brock Coltrane won't get a ride distracted by my residence. How often use civilians in law enforcement? Shannon Meyer tells us civilian Steve Desmond, Chris Chines just comes out of his residence. I'll be to arrest him with other Monroe County Sheriff Office police. It's not a crime to tell a man on his track nobody owns the land next to my residence. I've held up photographs for that. I'm not going to do that today in the interest of time. Do you, Todd, Baxter, understand it's not a crime for me to tell a man on his track nobody owns the land next to my residence and walk back to my residence? Because Timothy Murphy, the Monroe County Office of Real Property Tax Service, says that nobody owns that land next to my residence. And these two freaks that you've unleashed upon me, Todd Baxter, Layla Kumar Shah, and Nayrod Shah, don't have the documentation. This is something I sent to you. This document is in your office. This is on February 18th, where I called sickness. I'm telling you, what I said to you, what I'm saying to you here today in June, I said to you on this February 18th. February 17th. Dates are different. This was sent to you on February 18th, Saturday, like today, the day before. Redetached PDF documents, disclose names, I prosecute silence, mail names, I prosecute silence, Jazzers Ball resigns. Sickness answers at first, District Attorney Perry Douglas, Monroe District Attorney's Office. On February 17th, telling you, Perry Douglas, tell me the names of my prosecutors. You refused. All your emails are up here, only using email once, Proton mail account, a paid mail account. I use paid mail accounts to communicate with you because I can have unlimited recipients. So you refused. Lunatic fringe, bald-headed, Benito Mussolini clone, Todd Baxter, January 16, 2023. I don't hear, this is in your office. This is the color photograph. I don't hear from you to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Chris Chichester, citizen of Rochester, New York, with a surveillance device and camera. Nothing from you. But you will call Lindsey Barron, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, to come to me and humiliate me. This photograph's why you're a fanatic. This photograph's why you're an extremist. This photograph's why you're a liar. This photograph's why you're naming your $67,000 disgusting ass Shannon Meyer. This photograph is why people hate the police. I have never had any hatred for the police in the United States of America until I moved to Monroe County. My then girlfriend, Laura Riley, who I've known for 35 years, we live in Webster. This is why I'm going to move from Webster. Because of the police. I do not know if this is a Monroe County Sheriff Office employs the local Barney 5 cops. We lived above a man named Ed, who had Tourette's syndrome. Behaved in ways that I've never seen anybody behave. Where his Tourette's syndrome would activate itself and he would throw things and scream. And he would call the police on the neighbors. One of them, the people in my building said his name was Ed. Ed will call the cops on you. Well, I didn't think anything of it, I should. So Laura and I are asleep. It's past midnight. And I hear this screaming from him, and I think he's throwing things. He's making noises that sound like throwing things. And then 15 minutes later, he's just pounding on my door. I get up, and Laura's behind me. I'm in boxer shorts and t-shirt. I open the door, and there are two police officers there. Again, I don't know if it's the sheriff's office employee, the local elite cops. I open the door, and one of them grabs me by my shirt that I'm wearing like this one, pulls me into the hallway, throws me up against the wall. My head hit the wall. This is the first time my head has hit the hard surface, a hard surface, because of a psychopath cop. I came off the wall, and I took my finger, and I remember thinking, I want to get my finger as close to his eye as I can without touching his eye, and I did. My finger was this close to this cop. And I said, the only reason why you're allowed to do that to me is you're wearing an ice cream man suit. And they left immediately. I closed the door, and Laura started to cry. It's about her, and it should be. Anybody in your life is upset and has an emotional reaction about something that's happened, it should always be about that person. You should always do your best to comfort that person and see what you can do. So I'm looking at her, and this is just a terrible, horrible moment. And we talked the next day about how we can't stay there anymore, and we moved to Penfield. We're planning to move anyway because Laura's hired at the Penfield Public Library. We sat in our residence there in Webster, and I pretended to be a librarian to interview her, and she was so happy to get that job when she was hired. I'm not telling you things for narcissism. I'm telling you things that are connected to what's happened to me because you psychopaths at that sheriff's office, that revolting Shack District Attorney's office. When we moved to Penfield, Laura was hired at the Penfield Public Library. I do not know. Down the hall from the entrance is this star chamber called Penfield Town Court with John P. Lomenzo Jr.'s and James P. Jr.'s. John P. Lomenzo Jr. released accused child rape stand to last 30 retired. Paul C. Metz was elected with about 5,000 votes. Better have documentation about Danny Gloucester III. I want to see it. Defective documents, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, it's in your office today. So I sent the registered mail return receipt. Again, prosecutor's office, John P. Lomenzo Jr., Paul C. Metz, Alex Renzi. Tell me who it is. Christopher.chichester@mail.com. I'll say that again. Christopher.chichester@mail.com. Christopher Chichester, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361. Rochester, New York, 14604. Do you disgusting, revolting hacks and creeps at the district attorney's office understand that I have prosecutors assigned to every one of my court appearances? That's going to be in your office. Your boss is going to look at this, the district attorney of Monroe County. Sandra Doorley will look at this on Monday. This was sent yesterday, Friday. Well, I'm telling her to disclose the names of my prosecutors. And she will refuse because she's corrupt. Tell her to shut the fuck up about her health, too. I don't care that she's a cancer survivor. I don't care if she's afflicted with anything. If she raises her health, a citizen like me will question if she can do her job because of her health. And she can't do her job because of her health. Do you understand me, you psychopaths? She's trolling for sympathy is what she's doing. So, this is the Freedom of Information Law, dated on this June 24th. I'm demanding information from you. You refuse to comply with all 17 because you're corrupt, because you're liars, because you're sociopaths, because you're fanatics. You're anything that's not normal. Freedom of Information Law. Information about the grand jury can be my district attorney, Sandra Doorley, 2 Todd, Christopher Chichester as 1. The Montaigne, the grand jury is convened. 2, the assistant district attorney's office employee that addressed the grand jury. 3, the witnesses that testified to the grand jury. 4, the vote of the grand jurors. 5, transcript of the grand jury proceeding. Michael Hulan perjured himself for this grand jury. $73,000 Michael Hulan, $85,000 Don Benedetto walked onto the property of my 80-year-old neighbor who lives alone with a dog and hid on their private property. Is that legal? Perry Duck was marked by hand district office. Can the cops walk onto private property anywhere in the United States of America and lie in wait? Oh, you know. I leave my residence from the back porch to go to Wegmans that night. I'm going to be coming right back to the back porch in less than 60 seconds. Because I'll walk alongside the Reds. Here comes $73,000 psychopath Michael Hulan and $85,000 psychopath Don Benedetto running at me. I turn around and run away. I grab a hammer next to my bike that I used to fix my bike. I place my foot on the first of 3 steps to run through the sliding glass door. Michael Hulan grabs my arm. The hammer goes up like this. I pull away, run through the sliding glass door. I never stop running. What crime did I just commit? Employees of the district attorney's office? Do you think I commit a crime? You will believe anything these psychopath liars like Michael Hulan said. You will believe anything. Anything they say to you at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, you Jonestown Kool-Aid drinkers at that revolting Shack District Attorney's Office will believe. I ran the whole time. The only way I could swing a hammer at this lying psychopath perjurer Michael Hulan is if I stopped. You convened a grand jury, Michelle Crowley, of 18 to 24 anonymous idiots I don't know, and I'm indicted. You didn't call me for an interview, Michelle Crowley. You didn't contact me via phone, email. You didn't ask me to come to the district attorney's office to interview me. Why? When I pursued you disbarment, I'm not trying to engage in any hyperbole or be hysterical. I'm going to say this to the grievance committee, which I believe is where a process begins to disbar attorney about you, because you'll refuse to answer all these questions that I'm asking of you now on YouTube. In this foil, this has been communicated to you over and over about this grand jury. You know how easy it is to indict a citizen? Here is Ham Sandwich Donald Trump. I'm Ham Sandwich Chris Chichester. This is Ham Sandwich Donald Trump, born in Queens, New York. I'm Chris Chichester, Ham Sandwich, born in Queens, New York. Just the frightening power of a psychopath prosecutor like Jack Smith who could do this to the former president of the United States. He knows idiots can indict Donald Trump, just like you, Michelle Crowley. No idiots can indict me. The former president of the United States can be indicted. I stand no chance against the Leviathans at your district attorney's shack. How many answers, Michelle Crowley? Do you understand it's in your best interest to answer me? I just told you where you can contact me. I'm going to hear from you is nothing. I'm being stalked by the sheriff's office employees. $75,000 Richard Seaman. I've talked about this repeatedly now, about the psychopath. Todd Baxter, did you tell Richard J. Seaman to come to my residence and wait on Penfield Road looking at my front door, or do you not know what Richard J. Seaman's doing? I'm going to say this again. Either you told Richard J. Seaman to come to my residence and wait outside, or you don't know what this loose cannon cop is doing. Again, the corruption of you and why you're a liar and why I'm using that word here on this YouTube, a liar. You won't even answer me. Refusing to answer a question like this is why you're a liar. Todd Baxter, did you know Richard J. Seaman's outside my residence? Did you not know? He walks into the Penfield Public Library when I'm sitting down at the computer. I just arrived. Seaman ran at me, launches himself at me. It's the force of Seaman's arm hitting me in the head. Then I fell backwards, and then my head hit the ceramic tile on the floor, just like my head hit the wall when I was in Webster. My head is hit hard surfaces over and over and over because of you, Todd Baxter, and you, Sandra Doorley. I fell backwards. Seaman puts the handcuffs on me. Frog marches me out of the library. Down the halls, Paul C. Metzel waiting for me, where the district attorney's office is not there. There's no employee from the district attorney's office. Then I'm told by a woman, I'm your public defender. My public defender of your office, public defender Julie Sianka, you assistant public defender Mark Phillips, knows I'm supposed to be in court, but I don't. Mark Phillips for $87,000 because I got the payroll for the public defender's office. What's the name of that prosecutor assigned to that appearance? Who's not there? Because there has to be a prosecutor assigned, right? I don't know if this is constitutional or legal. Can Paul C. Metzler convene in Penfield Town Court where the district attorney's office is not notified for the express purpose of me being delivered to jail? What's the answer? When I contact the Office of Court Administration and others that have regulatory power over this little tiny room, I'll try to find out. But you know the answer. You could tell me, Perry Duckles, if your district attorney's office doesn't have to be notified or present or both for this disgusting hack to send me to Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. Bring information law, the issuance of a new check to Christopher Chichester address below for an expired check in the amount of $61.39 from the County of Monroe Office of Sheriff Inmate Fund account, because that's the dollar amount in the pocket of Chichester when filing tax to Penfield Public Library by $75,094. Richard J. Seaman, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Two people decide I'm going to be in Livingston County Jail. Richard J. Seaman is a violent psychopath, and $28,000 bald-headed widow Paul C. Metzler. I do not believe that's constitutional. I will not state with certainty that something is unconstitutional because of how bizarre the law is. If Roe v. Wade is constitutional, anything can be constitutional. If the destruction of a human being can be constitutional, since 1973, anything can be constitutional. I have the prosecutor's silence. Who is it? I'm not going to hold up the district attorney's office payroll in the interest of time, but I have held up the payroll and said, who's the freak? Because you $144,000 Perry Douglas know the name of the freak. Freedom of Information Law, documentation for the case for Christopher Chichester with John P. Lenzer in Penfield Town Court. What's the name of the prosecutor, Sandra? Is that Julie Hahn, or is not Julie Hahn, who's on Monroe County Court with 17% of the vote, she's not the victor? Joke, a disgrace. This is the 5'2" 3-piece suit. Boy, you, Regina Harper, I don't know if you're employed at the public defender's office because I didn't see your name on the public defender's payroll. But you, Mark Phillips, at $87,000, and you, Julie Sianka, I think $140,000, can tell me. And you'll refuse. Why? This is information you have and can tell me. Because every time I appear in court, I have a public defender. There's a prosecutor assigned to the appearance. Who is it? This boy should be disbarred, whose name I don't know, who sends me to jail. Perry Douglas. This prosecutor sent me to jail. What's this prosecutor's name? I can see him as clear as I can possibly see any human being. I don't know who he is. You know Perry Douglas. You know Judy Siaka. Tell me the name of this board. Documentation of the case for Christopher Charges for Paul C. Metropolitan Time Court was the name of the prosecutor, Sandra. I'm at my temporary residence at 70 Liberty Pole Way. I will be in Albany, New York right now. If it wasn't for this sick hack degenerate who forced me in Dallas, Renzi, what's the name of this sick hack degenerate? Freedom of information on documentation of the case for Christopher Charges for Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra? Who is it? I'm at 70 Liberty Pole Way with Felix Ortiz. Help me. I would have been sleeping outside for weeks because my 80-year-old landlord, Anthony, on the spinal lock doors locked me out. I would be in Albany, New York, if it's not for this prosecutor forced me at Alex Renzi, who then remanded me to Monroe County Jail because he wanted to give me a 7:30 mental health evaluation. I don't know. I don't believe that this is constitutional. That means a judge anywhere in the state of New York, on any court, can compel a defendant, a citizen, to come into court for the express purpose of a 7:30 mental health evaluation. You should know that the 7:30 is the part of the law in the state of New York that determines competence. And I'm free because I'm competent. These can be abused. I'm going to talk about this when I contact the Office of Mental Health Department of Health. This particular psychopath right here is why I'm still in Rochester, New York, and I'm Albany, New York. This particular psychopath compelled me to go with Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court, this $208,000 70-year-old fossil who has no idea what's going on, which I said to him, who is it? You're freaks at this district attorney's office and refusing to disclose the names of my prosecutors assigned to my court appearance. And you're liars. So, I'm driven from Monroe County Jail, the first time I was in Monroe County Jail, to an institution on Elmwood Avenue. That Paul C. Metzger knows where I was. Where I don't have a physical examination, because you're my new doctor, Sheriff Todd Baxter. I'm driven from Livingston County Jail, north of Syracuse, to another institution. Because Thomas J. Doorley, the Sheriff of Livingston County, is my new doctor. I'm driven from Livingston County Jail by 2 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees placed north of Syracuse. This is what your employees are doing this day. I'm not going to state the names of these institutions. You could figure it out, especially the one on Elmwood Avenue. Dr. Jeremy Smith told me on Elmwood Avenue you shouldn't be here. I took the 7:30 to this other place with about 20 employees saying I shouldn't be there. There was this doctor who was deaf. I hesitate. I don't know if the deaf like to be called hearing impaired or deaf, and what I was told by him is the word is deaf. I'm speaking to this doctor, and I talk to the woman who would tell me what he's saying. So he's communicating with me, this doctor at this place north of Syracuse. I'm telling him what I've said here. So me and him are talking, and I really was extremely impressed at this doctor listening to every word I say, because I would talk to him, and then the translator would say what I said to him. We're talking back and forth like this for a half an hour, and he released me. Same thing. There's nothing wrong with you. You shouldn't be here. You, Todd Baxter, paraded yourself as a doctor, and that's a disgrace. Sheriff Thomas Doherty's paraded himself as a doctor, and that's a disgrace. What are you doing giving my private healthcare records to Paul C. Metz when she asked me about being at this place on Elmwood Avenue? Todd Baxter. My former employers, the United States Senate, United States House of Representatives, passed the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, commonly called HIPAA, to properly protect healthcare records. My healthcare records are not properly protected when you give them to Paul C. Metzer. Think about the best possible lie, because you, Todd Baxter, are drenched in lies. Copy of the private healthcare records delivered to $28,000 Pemberton Court Judge Paul C. Metzer by Sheriff Todd Baxter, County in violation of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, commonly called HIPAA. Lunatic, French freak, Todd Baxter, the freak sheriff of Monroe County, who employs $83,000 freak Shannon Meyer right here. Surveillance device. It's not a surveillance device. You can tell me it's not. They can tell me what it is. If it's not. Freedom of information on the cost of a surveillance device purchased with taxpayer dollars by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter, fixed to a building 2025 Pemberton Road to monitor Fisher Charges 26 Sanders Farm Drive. Walk through the parking lot next to the building and act the lunatic fringe. Here it is again. This is in your office. I'll hold this up again. I have multiple photographs of this thing. I just walked over there for where I lived, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, and took a photograph of this with my iPhone. Elliot, wrong. Who works at this business called Consumer Insights? You can tell me. This is the parking lot right here. Walk through the parking lot. There's two of my neighbors right here. Can you see my neighbors? 4,000 times I walked through his parking lot. Todd Baxter, ask Shannon Meyer, your 83,000 cop freak, if it's a crime to walk to the parking lot. Just have it right in front of you. Because you have to say it's a crime to walk to the parking lot. Because the accusatory instrument is walk through his parking lot. Where's my protection of laws? It's to my neighbors. This land has no ownership right here. So when Shannon Meyer is telling Steve Des or Brock Holo Train Lawn Care to ride his tractor by my residence to get me to come out of the house, she doesn't know what I know. The Timothy Murphy, the Monroe County Office of Real Property Tax Service, can't confirm anybody owns this land. And these two freaks who released upon me, Layla Kumar, Shah, and Ara Shah, don't have the documentation. And even if they do have the documentation, it's not a crime to tell a man his tractor nobody owns the land next to my residence. This building here is called Consumer Insight. This is where the camera is, right here. You can go and look at it. You psychopaths, the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office, if you drive down Pemberton Road, you can drive right through this parking lot, go to this building, you can look right at it if you wanted to. And you can walk through the parking lot anytime you want. Employees at the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office. It's a sexual harassment at the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office. Please don't answer. The cost of taxpayers for information on the cost of taxpayers, Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter suspended taxpayer dollars on employment-related discrimination lawsuits found to apply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You $34,000 capital don't know the answer. Are you married to $77,000 Andrew Miller and his $12,000 Camille Miller, your daughter, and related to Camille Miller? Is it all in a family? We're the Millers, the sheriff's office. I don't know because that's a common last name. We'll talk to you soon, Todd Baxter, about minors on the payroll. Last page of the payroll, you get $10,000, $20,000 quote, end quote, employees. Are they the children? Nothing wrong with a minor working at a sheriff's office, district attorney's office to get that experience and internship. There's something wrong with a minor who's related to an employee of a sheriff's or district attorney's office, and that's nepotism. What do those $10,000, $20,000 quote unquote employees do with the sheriff's office, Todd Baxter? What's the state of nepotism at the sheriff's office? I know the answer. You're drenched in nepotism. Who you know, they're trying to get jobs for their own children, using any type of connections. That's the way the world works. Doesn't make it right. For any more information on the sexual harassment, district attorney's office, you Perry Douglas, you Mark Monahan, your $100,000 salaries, can tell me the answer. What's the answer? The cost of taxpayers, district attorney Sandra Doorley spending taxpayer dollars on employment-related discrimination lawsuits failed to apply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Communicated to you on this June 24th, the FOIL stated June 23rd. Time and a half overtime. You employees at the sheriff's office double your salaries. Can you, William Tadeo, be paid more money at $101,000 than Todd Baxter at $132,000? What's the answer? The answer is yes. I'm absolutely confident. If I'm incorrect, you can disabuse me of that. I believe you, William Tadeo, can be paid overtime. And you, William Tadeo, can be paid overtime, be paid more money than your boss, Sheriff Todd Baxter. Is Todd Baxter, you know his salary is set in statute, can he receive overtime? I know you won't answer me. When I contact Controller Thomas P. Napoli in Albany, I'll tell him, tell you, or ask him to tell you. What's the answer about overtime? Can the duly elected sheriff of Monroe County, Todd Baxter, receive overtime or not? For information on total cost of overtime, time and a half hour pay beyond base salaries calculated at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Todd Baxter. Can the duly elected district attorney of Monroe County, that is $210,000 Sandra Doorley, receive overtime, time and a half, while the pay is calculated beyond a 40th hour? Please be paid overtime, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, because that's really something I believe can enrage people. You already had $210,000 and you refuse to answer. Because you're a liar, because you're corrupt, because you're a criminal, Sandra Doorley. For more information on the total cost of overtime, time and a half hour pay beyond a base salary is calculated at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Sandra Doorley doesn't know she's a Democrat or Republican. She'll say anything. Lunatic friends taking pictures of the employees underwater in the pool. I don't care if it's a private event. I'm demanding of you repeatedly. This is taxpayer dollars, and you're telling me it's a private event. It can be a private event and tax dollars. Answer. For your information on the cost for photography session, photograph 10 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees underwater in the pool approved by Sheriff Todd Baxter. You'll lie about this because you're a liar. Liar Sheriff Todd Baxter will refuse to answer me, Chris Chichester, in Rochester, New York. This is tax dollars in a private event. So, I got the salaries for the public defender's office, Julie Siaka. That's why I know Mark Phillips is paid $87,000. I hope Regina Harper is not fired, terminated, because of anything I've said about her. Because people make mistakes in life, but I don't have vengeance to the heart for Regina or Mark, you or anybody. I'm just demanding information from you, refusing to comply with me. When I looked at that, I'm not a narcissist, I'm not self-absorbed, like, oh, she get fired because of me, but the thought did race through my mind. because I like Regina. I'm just astonished she just is not providing me with information. I think there are a number of reasons for it that I'm not going to get into, but Regina has helped me. She came to Livingston County Jail when I was in Geneseo. And I wish the best for her. I'm angry that she just won't disclose my prosecutors. Because she knows the names, that's why. And people make mistakes in life. And people behave in ways that sometimes you can't figure out without them losing their character. So I have this, even though I'm going to read it. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monterey Public Defender's Office, UDC. That's why I'm going to talk about this, even though I have it now. I'm going to read your salaries, Public Defender's Office, single one. I was surprised at how large it is, because I've been there to 10 North Fitch to meet with Regina. When I went to 10 North Fitch to meet with Regina played for me the body camera on either $73,000 cop freak Michael Houlihan or $85,000 cop freak Don Benedetto. And I sat next to Regina. I'm looking at myself run away from Houlihan and Benedetto. And she spent time with me, and she was a total professional. And I remember leaving the public defender's office. I remember thinking, I'm so glad she met with me and helped me and explained to me some of the things that are going on, despite what I have said now previously. Because that day, I thought, this is the best of the human heart. This really is. This is what a public employee in a public defender's office should do everywhere. What Regina Harper did for me that day, sit next to me and playing that body camera footage from these psychopath cops, Houlihan and Benedetto. So I have the salaries for public defender's office. It's so low. I really am astonished. I was almost shocked. I almost went to steady shock at how many were all there. And I shouldn't have been, because of what these psychopaths at the sheriff's office do in concocted crimes for innocent citizens, and the size of this Leviathan is the district attorney's office. I mean, it has to be that large. Penford Court, it's not just you bald-headed widow, $28,000 Paul C. Messer, $34,000 James Money Jr. It's the old lady. Who else? How many employees are there at Penford Court? You receive this. The public defender's office complied. I will not have to write that foil again. I'll have to write this foil for you, Paul C. Messer, James Money Jr., because what's the total number of employees at Penford Court that exists with taxpayer salaries? Because the old lady's there. What's the old lady paid? How many employees are at Penford Court? You notice there's no jury box for a jury 12. There's no table for a prosecutor to sit at. There's no table for a defense attorney, defendant, public defender to sit at. There's no witness box for testimony. You employees, Mark Monahan and Perry Douglas, the district attorney's office, that go into this room and grovel before these two disgusting hacks, Paul C. Messer and James C. Money Jr., should rethink, please, the redirecting defendants away from Penford Court, because everybody's guilty. I've not looked at that list of defendants on my friend I live next to in Penfield. Same thing happened to him, it happened to me. He appeared in front of John P. Lenz Jr., prosecuted in tall court. He's remanded in Montgomery County Jail. Then salaries of a public employee, Penford Court, 195 Bed Road, Penfield, New York. His $208,000 hack and fossil who forced me into Alex Renzi, who refused to comply with this. He has to have clerks. I'm absolutely confident he has clerks. And he refused to tell me this is why he's corrupt. The name of salaries of a public employee of the New York State Supreme Court under supervisor Judge Alex Renzi at 99 Exchange Boulevard, Rochester, 14604. 14614. Ryan Fisher, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not only demanding him, he sent Corey Brown and Michael Fowler. Two employees paid more money than you, Todd Baxter. Michael Fowler was paid $163,000. Corey Brown was paid $155,000. You sent him to Saratoga. Was that for a conference? Cops love to sit around at these joke conferences. I used to see them at the Empire State Concourse underneath the Capitol. The Concourse is called. Conferences all the time in this area that's about a mile long underneath the New York State Capitol. Well, Corey Brown and Michael Fowler in Saratoga for a conference. Were they in Albany for a conference? What are they doing in Saratoga, New York? The two employees paid more money than you, Todd Baxter, just like this employee who's out of New York State. He's just not in New York State and out of Monroe County. He's in Atlanta, Georgia, Ryan Fisher. Freedom of information. The cost for hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee Ryan Fisher attended the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019. Here's the story in Spectrum News. Monroe County deputy ready to protect and serve at the Super Bowl. A joke, a disgrace. I use that language over and over. You're tweeting about it. A joke, a disgrace. As we get ready to watch the Super Bowl, we're grateful for the men and women side to keep fans and players safe in Atlanta, including MCSO's deputy Ryan Fisher and Canaan Lola. Deputy Fisher sent this photo from Atlanta! Exclamation mark. Thank you both for your service. This is not service, Michael Riley, Catherine Miller, William Today, or Scott O'Berry. This is your employee on a junket. I believe you're sending your employees on junkets all the time. Corey Brown and Michael Fowler in Saratoga. Ryan Fisher's in Atlanta. Your employees have been either out of New York State or within New York State, out of Monroe County, how many times you do that? How many times you fleecing taxpayers, you bald-headed, Benino Mussolini clone, Todd Baxter? So that's it. You got everything. It has all been transmitted to you. Final one. The contract signed by Todd Baxter to purchase firearms from Monroe County Sheriff Office employees to include the names of firearms contract, the number of firearms purchased, total amount of tax for hours purchased firearms. I believe that firearms contract can remove you from office. All those foils have been sent to you on this June 24th, dated June 23rd. Send me the information. You refuse because you're liars. This here says perverse. I don't know if you can see this on my phone. Sometimes it's a glare. But it says June 21st, perverse. This is in your office. Comply with attached 19 Freedom of Information Law documents in PDF dated June 21st. Mail the names of my prosecutor's the address below in Rochester. Do not comply with every foil. Send the information I demand in every foil to that same address. Do you two parties switching psychopaths understand English language? It goes on from there. I'm not going to repeat that. So, contacted you, Perry Douglas, Paul Manser, Todd Thurston, Mark Phillips, you told me on January 1, you looked at this and ignored it. Perry Douglas is returned. Attached PDF is supposed to be UPS. This document also arrived on December 22nd, 2022. And December teach, bring it to your corrupt boss, Secretary Sandra. Doorley tells pathetic accumulation of health afflictions to send the information to my UPS center. I've demanded names on prosecutor's silence for 18 months. That was for $144,000. Insane. In jail again. All it takes is one warrant. I'll be file tracked and stalked or compelled to go into courtroom. Well, you know you don't have to talk. You know, at the district attorney's office, for me or any citizen to be delivered to jail, you don't have to talk. I don't go by my full name. My whole life I've told friends, family members, girlfriends, call me, employers, call me Chris. I was talking to my mother. She was 80 years old on the phone, and she was using my full name one time, over and over and over. When I'm telling her all these concocted charges of fiction and lies, and she's using my name over and over. My mother knows when I'm past 50 that I've never been arrested, never been in jail. Now, my mother is using my full name. When I have to tell her about the destruction of my life, I'm as motivated as any human being on planet Earth for justice. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I've been an innocent man my whole life.